What's going on, public? Michael McFarland here, the Lake Fork Guide. Going to give you a public rundown like I promised every Tuesday and Thursday. So it is Thursday, April 8th. Let's get right to it. The board. I talked to you last on Tuesday. I did not fish yesterday. I had a VIP client that comes out with me multiple times. It was just too windy for it. I didn't really want to beat him up. Not only was it windy, it was really cloudy. It was actually pretty chilly. And we just kind of audibled and let him reschedule. Really, we did what he wanted to do. And that north wind sometimes is really, really tough to catch those fish. It's kind of a toss-up. So I put windy, and windy for all those conditions. Today really wasn't a whole lot different, but I had two guys that had traveled all the way from Missouri, and they weren't going to be able to reschedule, and they weren't going to turn around and drive all the way home. So we went about it, and I'm telling you, it was windy, super rough. But we took a beating. I even broke the mount on my trolling, or my sonar up front of the boat. Hey, but that's what we do. And I can tell you that I'm glad I didn't take Ed yesterday because it just wasn't right for Ed. He comes out with me all the time, and we'll make do down the road with 2 or 3 more trips that we have scheduled. But today we had to put the big boy britches on and get out there and fish in it. And we did catch some big fish still. We had a 5, a 6. I lost an 8. But we had to use the wind. So it was just as windy today, but let's tell you the conditions. Lake is still in great shape despite the little cool trend and the huge winds churning the lake. Believe it or not, the temperatures are still really holding. I expected maybe some cool trend just a little bit in the lake today, but not. 62, 64 was the parameters I saw in the main lake today. 0 to 1 visibility, and the level has continued to come up. Those creeks and drains are still flowing just a little bit from that huge storm that we had that came through on Monday night. So as of today, 396.99, we're basically exactly 6 feet below full pool, which is where that cap was, where the Sabine River Authority had lowered the lake to. Now remember, the cap has been lifted. The dam repairs above water level are complete. So if we can continue to have rainstorms, which we should in April, we should get some water. I don't expect it to fill. I just don't. It's going to take, I'm no meteorologist, but it's going to take a lot of rain to fill our lake back up. Back in 2015, the lake was 8.7 feet low, and I think we had about 25 inches of rain in a 4 to 6 week period, and it did max it out. The creeks look like huge, massive rivers. The creek up at 19, Garrett Creek and Elm Creek, holy cow, they were pouring over the 19. It was unbelievable the amount of water we had. Flood city. So it can happen, but I don't expect it to. I hope that we just recover 2 or 3 feet of water and get us up back even to the 400 elevation. It'd be really great for the spawn. That's what's about to happen. So with that being said, let's tell you a few things, all right? The weather again, the last 2 days have been really windy and a small cool trend. With the heavy winds, I actually wore some of my cooler gear today, my bibs and whatnot, and I wore them all day. For tomorrow, 38 for a low, 63 for a high. One more cool day out there and some more northwest winds. A lot lighter than today, but some more northwest winds. Saturday looks like the perfect day to be here. 60-degree low, 80-degree high. South winds blowing 5 to 10 miles an hour. Hey, when it's blowing from the south, it blows it in their mouth. They bite really good. So if you're coming this weekend, you should expect to catch some fish. But again, today the big rollers were really nasty. We actually had to go out there in those rollers, get to a destination. And let me tell you, at first I kind of faded away from it. I went away from it and I fished areas that they weren't sheltered, but they weren't wind blown. And we're throwing the big baits, the big swim baits, the big glide baits. I'm giving you some information here. And we weren't catching. We started catching when we put the big boy britches on and went and fished where that big water was crashing on the structured shallow points. So when I say structured, I mean hard bottom areas Not going to give you much more, but big baits in the right places are catching big fish right now on Fork. These are pre-feeding females. They're not staged yet. However, the moon is coming, full moon, about 10 days from now, and that is absolutely going to draw fish in for the spawn. Places, the backwaters are really getting good. Up in Little Caney Creek, the back of Glade, the back of Running Creek, the back of Birch Creek. If you'll get back up in there and slow down, back in those small pockets, duck call, etc., you can go in there and catch some males right now that are waiting for these females. Texas rig baits, wacky rigs, a trick worm, wacky style is really good. Fish it really, really slow. A lightweight Texas rigged Zoom brush hog is a really good bait. A lizard, Texas rig a lizard right now. It's one of the best baits you can have if you're back in those backwaters. Remember, because of low conditions, there's no grass, there's no brush, there's very little cover. So you got to pitch to the trees and stumps. They're not really going to use that much of the dirt raw shoreline. I'm not saying you won't find some beds on the raw dirt shoreline areas, but they're going to use laydowns and pieces of wood and stumps and roots. So remember that 2 to 4, maybe 5, 6 foot range. Throw to every little target you can multiple times. Multiple times, not just once or twice. Never out the moving baits. It's a great way to find fish this time of year in the backwaters and then slow down. So spinner bait, chatter bait, small square bill, maybe even a jerk bait till you get bit and then slow down. The fish are definitely staging the spawn in certain areas. And the females, again, as I said, with the moon coming, they're going to be on the beds. April is going to be an awesome bed fishing month. And since we're late, it's going to carry all the way into May as well. I think I kind of really want to lead you from that. You know, I'm not giving you colors and things. I'm not giving you the exact baits that I'm catching the fish on here because this is the public rundown. If you'd like to know more of the details, the exact details, and even more location specific, the rule of 3, please, I'm asking you to subscribe to my members only channel. All these videos should have a join button right at the bottom here, especially if you should see that if you're using a desktop or a laptop. If you're on your mobile phone, you won't see that. But please, if you want, just give it a try. $4.99 a month, some really premium information, the exact how-to, the exact locations, and a very, very, I can't say it any more than that, very detailed right here on Fork. Members only channel. All right. Another bait I do want to throw at you. I want to give you some freebies. You know, if you're out there on those main lake points and you're not really doing well with the bigger baits, the swim baits, the glide baits, and things like that, man, Mark Pack taught me this tip. I probably shouldn't be giving this to the members only, but I want you public to know that I really value your subscription as well. So, right here, impact shad. Tie it on a Carolina rig when it's really windy. Throw this on a 3-foot, 4-foot Carolina rig with a 3/4 ounce weight on those real windy points where it's going crazy. Same place I'd be throwing the glide baits. You'd be surprised. You don't have to throw the big baits to catch some of those big fish. Even go to the larger size, which is the full size impact shad. All right, that's the big one right there. This is probably what I know Mark Pack will be doing, the 7-inch green pumpkin magic on a Carolina rig. It'll get your arm ripped off. Promise you. Soak it in magic reaction, real-time magic reaction. You'll catch more fish. All right, guys. Listen, a couple of things I want to just promote you with too. Besides, hit the like button below. Hit the thumbs up, if you will. Comment below. If you haven't subscribed to the basic regular channel, please hit the subscribe button. Sure like to see that as well. I'm grateful for all of you regular YouTube channel subscribers, the public subscribers. And I want to share with you, if you're coming to Lake Fork, I got a couple cool places that I want you to consider staying. Number 1, Lake Fork Marina Motel. It's the 5-star of Lake Fork. There's an awesome tackle shop that reminds me of a mini Bass Pro when I go inside. Awesome rooms, well managed throughout the whole lake. There is no other place that exceeds your stay at Lake Fork Marina Motel. Secondary, my best friend Rich Stringer. He owns the Burning Stump Lodge. It's about 1 mile away from the launch ramps and from Lake Fork Marina. In Lake Fork Marina Motel, you got Lavelle's Restaurant. It's the old Tiffany's restaurant. It's been taken over by the Lavelle family. It's absolutely redone, repainted by me, cleaned up, awesome food coming out of there. And guess what? The pies are back. All of the pies. If you were missing the pies over the last year, 18 months, they're back. So Lavelle's Restaurant, Lake Fork Marina, oh my, the pies, okay? And one last thing I saw today, as of yesterday, pretty cool on the table, but I know a lot of people used to love the AJ's Fish House. As of April 7th, yesterday, grand opening, AJ's Fish House is now back open. And I saw the menu today. It looks pretty much the same. I'm sure that they've revamped things, re-cleaned things. I haven't seen it inside yet, but the buffet is still there. If you're coming around this weekend, not only do you need to do Bros Crawfish or Seth's Steakhouse and Seafood, but you can have a choice of AJ's Fish House once again. Guys, I appreciate you so much. Thank you again for all you do. If you're coming out this weekend, be careful. The lake is still low. And it's starting to get busy. But that low lake, there's a lot of oncoming traffic. Remember that we always pass on the right and counterclockwise rotation, just like you would on the highways. Don't make others nervous by doing the opposite. Go easy. If you hit a stump at 40 miles an hour instead of 70, there's a big difference in what happens to your boat. Remember, Lake Fork Super Trails keeps you safe. I'm Mike McFarland, loving on you. Thank you for the public subscription and great fishing.